We are live. We are live. Welcome to another live stream. Thank you for joining me. Today is going to be a really exciting one because yesterday, as you guys will know who follow Palantir, Palantir stock went over $20 per share. That means that it officially went to a 52-week high. That is so exciting. Now, of course, it's exciting in terms of just seeing the stock price go up and the chart go up. That is always exciting. But I think more importantly than that, it's exciting because we have to ask ourselves, why? Why is that happening? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this live stream. So let's look at the chart first, and then we will start discussing what's been causing this big price increase. So whilst I chat away to you guys, hopefully people are here, let me know in the chat, number one, what's the biggest reason you think that Palantir stock is going up and it's having such a good time at the moment? And two, let me know your average price for Palantir, providing you obviously invest into the company. Now, I know that a lot of people have really, really low average prices. You know, they sort of got in at the $6-7 mark, which is fantastic. I was also buying then, the $7 to $8 range. However, I've been buying ever since as well. So my average share is not $6. I think it's around, I'll have to have a check, but it's not too high and it's not super, super low. So I'm okay with that. I know that a lot of people have the really low average share price, which is fantastic. But also people, you know, only got into the company very recently. And they've got an average price of, let's say, $15, $17. And they're kind of concerned that actually they're too late and their average price is too high. Let me know as well if you think that is the case. I personally don't. I think that we are in very, very early days of this company. As long as you are willing to be a long-term holder, I don't think that these prices that we're even at now are, you know, they're going to be way higher in the future, in my opinion. Anyway, let's take a look at this lovely, lovely graph. Oh, it's really nice to see because I remember seeing Palantir stock. Let's actually have a look. Let's expand by a year. Back down in this $7 range. And honestly, at the time when it was the $7 range, you didn't obviously have all of this part of the chart. So all we could see as investors buying at that sort of price was what came before, which if we zoom out, you'll see what came before was this massive run up shortly following Palantir going public. So it felt very, very scary to be buying at these sort of prices. I started adding Palantir. Actually, this is a lie. I first purchased Palantir shares in November 21. Only a few. Didn't really know an awful lot about the company at that time, but I got really serious and started taking it really seriously, taking my research seriously and adding more around March, April time this year. So around the time that it was $7 to $8. That was my main time. So yeah, we saw all of this before and it didn't feel great buying a stock that kept falling. But that is where the conviction comes in. That is where it is so important to do the research and remember why you're buying and your investment horizon. Because without that, it would have been really easy back here to think it's clearly going down for a reason. Like this is just going to go to zero now. It's never going to return to all-time highs. This is going absolutely nowhere. Quick sell out before I lose all my money. That's not what we want to do with long-term investing, providing you've done your research and you've got conviction. So what we've now seen, I'll go back to year-to-date view, 52-week high. This is cool. This is really cool. Now, Palantir have had an insane year anyway. What are they up by the year? Whoa, 212%. That's insane. Someone let me know in the chat, are there any other companies, I'm talking big companies that are very known ones, that have had a better year to date than that? Nvidia maybe? Let me know. Yeah, so fantastic year to date. Some really, really vertical, crazy run-ups. You can see here, another one, a big one here, for many reasons. So at the end of July, I think it actually closed at, Palantir got basically just under $20 a share, and that was That was so exciting. But there was this $20 resistance level that wasn't being broken until yesterday. Until we went over, it's not showing here, but we went over $20 per share. I think during trading hours yesterday, it was up to $20.26 or around that sort of level. Very exciting. I don't know what's going to happen today because in pre-market, it's actually just gone 1 p.m. in the afternoon for me here in the UK. But in pre-market, down 1970, which obviously is still fantastic. There is clearly this resistance level that we are trying to break through right now. When we break through that, I'm not into like technical analysis that much or anything like that, but it does seem to be there hovering, this resistance level. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. Like I said, though, I think it's early days. I am not concerned that this is it. I don't think this is the highs, but of course, when a stock goes on a crazy run up, it is naturally going to have some drawbacks. That is just a part of investing. So you either take the approach of, I'm just going to dollar cost average in, I'm not going to pay too much attention, I'm going to have a very, very long time horizon, you don't really bother. Or you may take the stance and the strategy that you're going to wait for a little bit of a pullback until you load up. Of course, if that happens, fantastic. If, however, we don't get a significant pullback for quite a while and then all the catalysts start happening, the stock goes up and up and up, you may then think to yourself, actually, I've missed my chance. I wouldn't overthink it, honestly. I just try and dollar cost average in, buy some each and every week that I can, and then I will save some money on the side to put in if there is a significant pullback. That's my strategy, but obviously that's just what works for me. So let's talk about why this has been happening. Why has Palantir been shooting up this much recently? Now, I think there are a number of reasons. I don't think there is just one big catalyst that's caused this and it's going crazy. I think that there is just the macro situation right now. Of course, was it yesterday or the day before? We had the US inflation numbers come out. Inflation seems to be lowering, and that's the same in the UK actually, which is just helping the whole market really. It's across the board, we see stocks just doing a little bit better because of that ease in inflation. It makes sense. On top of that though, a little bit more Palantir specific maybe, is an unfortunate one, I must say. But there is obviously a lot of war going on in the world right now. Palantir is quite involved in some of those different battles that are happening. We've got Ukraine, we've got Israel, it's all happening, and Palantir as a defense, they have a defense side. They work with the governments. They have this whole defense area of their business. They don't just have the commercial side, along with other stocks that also are so-called defense stocks, have been having naturally a run up because of the situation that's happening. It kind of just is what it is. And then I've seen people say, well, isn't that really unethical and immoral to actually invest into companies that are profiting off wars and things like that? That's a whole different debate. I don't think that investing into Palantir is at all a wrong thing to do. You could literally argue that for any company. Take any company and there will be a way to argue that investing in them is morally wrong. That's my opinion anyway. We have also had another thing that might be pushing Palantir up further. I'm going to get onto the main one in just a minute, but I'll go through some of the other ones that have sort of been helping in the last few weeks, few days. We had Bank of America. Now, Bank of America came out, and obviously they are a massive deal. It's not just someone on YouTube like myself saying Palantir's great, ooh, big company. They came out and they raised their target from $18 per share to $21 per share for the next year. That's a significant increase, and it was also provided with some really bullish commentary and remarks. So they based that price target on S&P 500 inclusion, which is 100% going to make this list today. We'll talk about that in a minute. AIP momentum that they are already seeing, and they expect that momentum and that demand for artificial intelligence platform to continue. And then they expect that to grow the customer base and get new clients for Palantir, as that is very, very much in its infancy. We feel, I guess, as Palantir investors and as a Palantir community, we probably feel like AIP has always been there, but it hasn't. It's so new, a really, really new platform for Palantir. They also mentioned strong earnings, and they said as well about the macro situation, how Palantir is aligned to help with that, both government side and commercially. So we had that. That's good. We did also have the city remarks, the city targets, that Citibank lowered their targets. That didn't seem to have too much of an impact really in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, that happened. And then we had Dan Ives. Now, if you are not familiar with Dan Ives, he talks about many stocks, including Palantir and Tesla. Palantir and Tesla are, of course, my biggest two holdings, so I do see a lot of what he says. And he always seems to have a way with words where he will like phrase something that then sticks and makes headlines. Back a while ago, he called Palantir the Messi of AI. Messi, obviously the footballer, my favourite footballer, actually. I do like football. He said Palantir is the Messi of AI. That caused the stock to have a boost. This was back a while ago. Then he came out very recently and he slightly changed it and said Palantir is the golden child of AI. With that comment, he also said that it seems like people are more understanding about what Palantir do. They are growing to like Palantir more because there is now evidence and use cases of Palantir in place. Completely agree with him. Aside from that, we've got the NHS contract. This seems to be quite confirmed, but not announced by the NHS. If you've been following this channel and you've been following the videos on this, you'll be fully up to date pretty much. The only thing to update you on quickly here is that there has been a change in the health secretary in the UK. Because of this, Foxglove, who are the main campaigners against Palantir, against the FDP being supplied by Palantir, they are urging people to email the new health secretary. Her name's Victoria, and they want people to be saying that, don't let Palantir near the NHS. And there's also, aside from that, there's also a letter that is being signed by people going to Victoria. Again, all about NHS privatisation, not wanting the NHS to work with any private companies, things like that. So my stance on the NHS deal right now is it looks good. Palantir seem, with everything that we know, Palantir seem to be ready to take it if they haven't already. But there does seem to be a lot of pressure. We're in like a pressure cooker here in the UK of bad press, and that could impact it. We are just going to have to wait and see now, honestly. It's been going on a long time, but hopefully we will know soon. So there's that. People are anticipating that happening. Maybe, I don't think this is really affecting it that much, but I imagine some retail investors and maybe businesses as well, institutional owners, will be maybe accumulating some more shares before that happens. Who knows? It's all speculation. Then just in general, with the Q3 earnings that were fantastic, they were really, really good. A few things in there that weren't 100%, but all in all, I would say that was their best earnings to date. Really, really strong. Two things from that earnings that could be building momentum for Palantir and Palantir stock. One, the commercial customer growth. Doing so well. I think now it's gotten to the point where businesses are seeing AI integration as a necessity. They do not want to be left behind. They don't want to not have the competitive edge. And that's exactly what's happening. Those who are leaning into AI and integrating AI and taking time to understand it are those that are able now and are going to be able to compete with their competitors. Those who have cognitive dissonance and don't lean in and don't try and resolve that, I think may struggle, because the AI revolution is real. Obviously, again, this whole AI push is helping Palantir and will continue to do so. But for a long time, people thought, AI revolution, whatever, it's a fad, it's going to go away. Clearly not. The amount of money that businesses are spending on AI is insane. No one wants to miss out. And that is helping those companies that are positioned perfectly for the AI revolution, if you will. It's helping them. And Palantir is absolutely one of them. On top of the customer growth, we are seeing AIP growth. The adoption curve for AIP looks ready to go. When I say ready to go, I mean it's really going to start ramping up. Palantir in November, so in the current month, are doing more AIP boot camps to get more AIP customers than they did in the whole of 2022, when they did pilots in the whole of 2022. They are really ramping this up. I am seeing a lot of people want Palantir in their portfolio, businesses, retail investors, because of the potential of AIP. That alone. So when it's monetized, it could be a big deal. And again, people might be thinking, okay, well, I need to get in early here because AIP could be big. Monetization is perhaps coming soon. We don't know. That again is another thing. Just on a little side note, I'm particularly excited for FedStart. I think FedStart is a fantastic program ran by Palantir that is solving a real problem businesses are having. They are providing so much value because what they are doing is they are providing a way for businesses, organizations that want their software to be in the US government to sort of fast track that and make it a lot cheaper. That to me is underrated. I don't think it will ever be as big as some of Palantir's other offerings, but I do think it stands a chance of being a real competitive moat because not a lot of companies are going to be able to offer that. Not a lot of companies. So we've got that. We've got the whole idea of just how retail investors and institutional owners are now waking up to Palantir. For a long time, Palantir was a pretty unknown company, and it was a company that was very hyped, or people said it was very hyped. No one really understood what Palantir did, myself included. I remember researching Palantir for the first time and thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to understand what an ontology is. I'm never going to understand what Foundry does, so on. It's confusing. But now we've built more use cases. Now we've got more evidence. We've had the AIP con days where businesses have explained in their own words what AIP does, how Palantir have helped them. We've got all of this evidence. It means that everyone is becoming a little bit more aware about this company. Then we had the Q3 earnings that were fantastic. The financials are looking good. So people are becoming more convicted. They are putting their money into it now because they understand the potential again. Right, now let's talk. We'll jump to the chat in a minute and see what people are saying, but let's just talk about the biggest reason I think this is happening, aside from all of the ones I've just said. I think one of the biggest things that is pushing Palantir stock up right now is the increase in institutional ownership. On a tangent, I've got a video coming out tonight at 6 p.m. UK time all about this. So please watch that because I'll go into a lot more detail in that video. Now, I think what's happening, massive institutions like Vanguard, like BlackRock, many others, what they called State Street Corp. There's others as well that aren't coming to the top of my head. They are loading up on Palantir. They are buying so many shares in one go of Palantir. That is good because obviously the stock price is based on demand and supply, and that is going to push it up when a lot of shares are purchased at one time. Why are they buying it? Why are they buying it now? Why do they care to purchase this now? One is a want and one is a need. I think they want to buy Palantir because of the growth, because of everything that we've just discussed. And they also need to buy Palantir because what's happening? Palantir are getting included soon into the S&P 500. We have been waiting for this for a long time as a community. It's so exciting that this is happening. We don't know when. It could be next year. I don't know how long these things take. Once they get eligible, it doesn't just happen overnight, unfortunately. There's a period of time, and I don't know how long that is. But at some point in the near term, Palantir will be in the S&P 500. What does that mean? Well, that means that these big institutions like Vanguard, BlackRock, so on, they have funds, don't they? And they manage money on behalf of their clients through their funds. In their funds, like the S&P 500 funds, They will then own Palantir. What happens then? Well, more Palantir shares are owned and the demand supply thing still holds. So I think this is what's happening. I think the institutional ownership is increasing, and it's increasing now at an interesting time before the S&P 500 inclusion officially happens and with everything else that we're seeing. I've also seen, and do let me know if you've got any evidence of this or you've seen this too. I've seen that people saying Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, are buying Palantir. I've not seen the evidence for this yet. I think there was like an undisclosed buy. I can't remember what I saw. And people are speculating that that could be Berkshire Hathaway. That would be big. That'd be big. So let me jump over to the comments. Now, I don't know if comments are going to let me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to put them on the screen. I did download a new piece of software in order to be able to do this, but we will see if it actually works. Let's see. It doesn't look like it's going to work for me. Okay, I will get this sorted. I've got the comments so I can see them. So let's just have a little look through them. I can't show you on the screen, but in the chat section, I put earlier, just before this live stream started, I put 2 little emojis of Alex Karp. Those are available for anyone that becomes a channel member. That's a member on any tier. It's the cheapest tier is $2.99 a month. It's just to help support the channel, and you'll get loyalty badges, and you also get these cool emojis that I'm going to add more, but I just think they're so funny. So let's see what people are saying about Palantir and why we've been on such an increase recently. Wow, there's a lot of comments. I think we may be at 1980. I think a lot of people will be taking profit. That being said, I'm excited to go to Mars. Drew, yeah, I think that people will be taking profit. It's whenever we get a stock going up like this, people do take money off the table, and I think it makes sense. I personally, I've spoken about this recently actually. I see that as well. I see my portfolio go up by a lot because of buying Palantir back when it was cheaper. A lot for me, maybe not for other people. And I think I could take that money out and take that profit, but then what would I do with it? It would literally go from my investment account to my savings account and get no interest. And I don't have anything that I want to spend it on or need it for. So it's best just to keep in my investment portfolio invested into Palantir. But yeah, it makes sense. People will definitely be taking profit. I think too, it will be in the upper 19s. I don't think much will happen in the market today. Okay, we'll see. I'm kind of, today, tomorrow, I'm looking to buy some more Palantir shares and maybe some Tesla shares. Whenever I do that, I alert my Patreon members. So again, if you're interested in that, feel free to join. But because of that, I am hoping that it doesn't go any higher at the moment. Obviously, I like seeing it go up, but I'm a bit selfish right now. I'm in my growth stage. I want to accumulate as many shares, and I want those shares to be as cheap as possible. So if it can stay cheap, that will be fantastic. However, on the flip side, I also think that it is cheap now compared to what it will be. So I'll be buying either way. I guess that answers the next question. Are you going to be buying more Palantir? Yes, I am going to continue to buy Palantir until I either think that it's overvalued, or I have enough, or I have my investment thesis broken. You could argue that it's overvalued now, I guess, but I'm sticking to my strategy of dollar cost averaging and then adding more if it falls. I am definitely not at the saturation point for Palantir for me right now. I need way more shares, the same with Tesla. So I'm just going to keep buying. And my investment thesis for this company has absolutely not changed. Every day I research and every day it gets stronger. Hi, Hayley and friends. Hello. We're building such a community here. I love it. People are so nice and so smart about Palantir. BEM96, 787 is my average price. That is an insane price, honestly, an insane average price. Well done for buying at that level where there would have been a lot of fear and unknown. So congrats. 4,590 shares for Rick. That's an incredible achievement. That is a lot of Palantir shares. That's amazing. Well done. Yeah, people are talking about their average. Some people are saying they have a really low average, 590. Some people are, I remember it, 590. Some people are saying low averages. Some people are saying they have averages more in the $20 range and above. Like I said, I don't think it's a problem at this stage. Midwest, welcome, welcome. Thank you. I believe you found my channel through my conversation with Amit. So I appreciate you subbing and being over here and repping the Palantir community. Question about the Alex Karp emojis. It's a member thing. If you become a member of the channel, regardless of which level membership you pick, you'll get access to them. There's some Elon ones and some Alex Karp ones. Palantir helps save lives not only during war, but also in the healthcare industry. I have strong conviction in this company. Yeah, me too. I think that it's so cool to invest in a company that is helping so many sectors. I sound like a broken record at this point, but I always say Palantir's total addressable market is one of the biggest that I've seen, and it really is. I haven't come across an industry yet that Palantir are either not working with already or they couldn't work with in the future. It's mad. They've got their commercial side, any sector, their government side, which is obviously restricted because they're only going to work with certain people, but it's big. Is everyone a long-term investor, or if you double your money, would you sell? I am a long-term investor. I'm not looking to sell any shares from my holding in Palantir or Tesla anytime soon. I'm looking to hold this for the next maybe 2030, maybe onwards from that. I'm very much looking for this to hopefully one day, along with other things, I need to grow it more. I'm not naive, obviously, but to help me on my journey towards financial freedom, financial independence. Having said that, if Palantir went crazy and my money was quadrupled or whatever, I probably would take some profit again to help me maybe be more financially free. But yeah, very much long term for me. Hayley, a couple of days ago, you mentioned about AIP being used in hospitals in Tampa, Florida, I believe. Yep. I don't see any news blurb on Palantir's website. Where did you get that information from? So there is an interview, and there is also, let me see if I can find it. There is a lot of information online. I'll put some. I'm popping it in the chat now for you guys if you do want to have a look. That is the link to, can you hear the seagulls or the birds? That is a link to the Palantir website. And then there is also, you can just Google Palantir Tampa and you'll see. And there is also this interview here as well. But yeah, they're doing really, really cool things with Tampa. Really, really positive. Okay, we're going to wrap this up in a minute. I don't want to steal too much of your time, but I'll just see if there's any more things that I want to quickly say. Institutions piling in. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Fast Eddie, 77 shares is not a joke. Keep building. That it's good to even have one share in this company, in my opinion. So don't worry about that. Is the this NHS delay on the announcement is getting to me now? Yeah, it's it's a bit mad, isn't it? Delay. Firstly, September, end of September, then October, end of October, November, mid-November. Still haven't heard. It's got to happen soon, surely. I think the hold-up has got to be some legal debates, some legal issues, or they are just worried about what to do. Also, quickly, actually, this is interesting. The NHS website in the UK, let me share my screen. me share my screen. This is very interesting. So there is this website, NHS website, and they have a whole Q&A section. Not many people know about this. I did make a video on it, but they have this whole Q&A section about the FDP, about the Federated Data Platform. So people that are concerned can come on here and they can read what is Federated Data Platform, why do we need it, what do we mean when we say data, all this general information. That's been around for a while. 2 days ago, they updated this. They updated this question and answer section. Why? What did they update? Well, one thing that they updated, let me make sure you can see my screen. One thing that they updated on this Q&A, they added this last question in here. Will the NHS sell my data? Why have they added that? Well, they've added that because there is so much concern about what an FDP does, what it means, whether Palantir will come in, collect data and then sell that data. So the answer to this question, as you probably know, is right here if you want to read it. But yeah, it's very interesting. Why would they update this when we still haven't got an announcement, but there is that concern? Maybe it's coming soon and maybe they are just figuring out how best to do this. I don't know. But it does seem that Palantir are, I don't want to say it's certain that they've got it because it isn't. It really isn't until we get that announcement. We'll have to wait and see. Okie dokie. So guys, I'm going to end the stream here for today. This has been really fun. I keep saying, in case you're brand new, thank you for coming. I am doing these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They will be a mix of Palantir stuff, Tesla stuff, a little bit of everything else that I want to talk about. I do appreciate you coming and spending some of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are with me. I hope this was interesting. Let's continue this conversation in the comments. If you've got anything else to add, Palantir, average price, what you think it's going to close at today and why we are seeing such a run. Thank you, and I will see you. Oh, remember, there's a video coming out tonight at 6 p.m. all about institutional ownership and who actually owns the most Palantir.